This is my April trading recap. It will include my small cap trading as well as my algo portfolio trading on the futures markets. Now, I'm Manir, also known as Ghost Trades on Twitter, and I also run unbiased trading. Now, these type of videos are a bit more ranty, they're a bit more off the cuff, so if you come into this expecting a really well written out video, my apologies, it's mainly just my thoughts on the overall month. Now, if you're being a bit confused by the background and everything like that, I recently just moved to Dubai and I don't actually have a permanent situation, so my apologies for any of the microphone audio being bad or any of the video issues. Just be aware that I don't have my full setup at the moment. But anyway, let's get straight into this. So I achieved about $5,000 in profits this month trading small caps. Overall, this month was a bit of a slower month, but that's also mainly due to me missing actually some key trades, and that was really just my fault. I was either busy taking a flight or doing something else in the process of moving. So I knew this month, and I came into this month prepared to not execute to my best. Now, I did consider just like fully taking off this month, doing no trading at all, but last time I've done that has mainly just mean when I've re-entered the market, I've been incredibly rusty and I've caused actually more issues because I've just been out of the game for a month. So primarily what I did was I only just traded on the days where I could actually dedicate the whole day or at least that whole time section to trading and actually being able to be focused on it. But overall, like performance was okay. So I think at least on opportunity side of things, there weren't amazing opportunities this month, at least for my particular setups in small caps. As you can see, a bit of a choppy price action over this month. Did take actually a good amount of losers this month as well. Now, for the Trader Sync stats, we can see the biggest profit was $2,488 in a single trade. That was an awesome trade. I can't remember the exact ticker. This month has just been so crazy. But it was a really good trade anyway. I think it was mainly just an all-day fader from the beginning, from open all the way until the end. My biggest loss was $810. I recently upped my risk to $800. So that $10 is basically just slippage. Overall, pretty happy with risk management this month. Pretty good indeed, especially because I was actually taking a decent amount of losers this month. We had 5 total losers and 6 total winners to total amount of trades to 11, bringing in the lowest, I think, bringing in the lowest win percentage I think I've had in a decent while, I believe, which is 54%. So I was pretty much, kind of surprised, to be honest, to end this month positively. The main reason being is, at least statistically, I think my trades bring in about 1.6 R per trade, which, obviously with 50% win rate, I'm still going to be profitable, but I was more expecting around the $2,000, maybe $3,000 mark. But pretty happy that we were, got to the $5,000 mark, even with me missing, I think, about 3 trades. But at least the trades I did execute were executed pretty much perfectly. I made no issues on risk management or on the entries, so pretty happy on that. Average hold time was about 6 hours for a winner. This is being pretty consistent just because I'm holding until end of day, so most of the time I'm holding at least 6 hours if it is a winning trade. Max consecutive winners and losses, the exact same of 2. Nothing really to speak about there. Pretty consistent performance just on that mark and wasn't too difficult to actually handle emotionally. Next is my algo portfolio. So I don't normally do this, and really this month I only wanted to do it because I didn't actually have much else to speak on my small cap trading. And personally, my own algo performance, I try and not speak about too much. The main reason being that I'm still learning. I'm still really in the kind of okay, not beginning stages, but intermediate stages, and I've still got a lot to learn. And I'm learning from a lot of people ahead of me, which I'm transitioning over into my own trading. At least on the backtesting and modeling and coding side of things, I'm pretty well expertise, at least in that. However, on the actual running strategies live as a portfolio, that's still quite new to me. I've done a lot of singular algos running for a decent amount of time, like a year plus, but for a whole portfolio and having to manage that portfolio, that's still a bit newer to me. So still learning in that regard. And to be honest, the profits this month were just incredible. Overall, the beginning of the months was pretty break even. To be honest, I was making a bit of money, then going into drawdown, making a bit of money, going back into drawdown. So at least the tip on that side of things is I don't look at my portfolio equity curve or even results really that much throughout the month. Now obviously I have monitoring set up and I have alerts, but I really don't want to be bogged into the intraday or even daily performance of them, just because then that can really affect how I emotionally react to those strategies performing. Maybe I'll cut one short or remove it from the portfolio because it's just gone into drawdown, things like that, making irrational decisions on my actual portfolio. So This month we ended, I think, about $36,000. That's including commissions, and that is on 7 strategies. It was actually going to be 8, but I actually had to decommission one of the, well, not decommission. I put one of the strategies back in incubation because it was in a drawdown for over 2 months, and that was the longest time it's been in a drawdown really historically, based on all the back tests and things like that. So I put it basically back into sim to let it test out and see if it ever comes back. Um, Let me just bring up my notes. So, at least for the notes side of things, slow month for overall for small caps. Execution was not fully optimal as I did miss 3 trades. That's probably the worst performance I've had, but it's understandable in a sense because I was traveling and I was quite busy, so I can't really hold myself too hard on that one. The algo performance was just incredibly impressive, and actually a lot of that performance came from a single strategy, which was a candlestick pattern algorithm I implemented just last month. So if I hadn't have put that one in, I actually haven't done the calculation, but I think I would have been still positive on the month, but definitely not as much. So you never know, that might be a fluke. Next month might be a huge drawdown, but we'll see how that goes. So I already mentioned, but I had to put one strategy in occupation. Pretty much went over that story. Basically, just stopped working. Had the longest drawdown in its history of about 2 months consistently losing, and the win rate and Sharpie was really low for both months. So I put it back into sim, and we'll see how it does. At least for reactivating it, I'm gonna basically reactivate it based on performance metrics, and sadly, I'm gonna be employing a moving average on the equity curve. It's not the best method. There's a lot of cons to it, but I'm just adding it just as a additional thing that I can look at for reactivating it. So definitely not perfect, but it's at least what I'm doing at the moment. Next month, my main focus will be to further diversify my portfolio. I've got way too much of a reliance on indexes. Now, that's not necessarily bad on a volatility standpoint. Indexes is where volatility is normally at. That's where you can actually do the most like mean reversion and trend following strategies, at least in my experience. But I have recently employed one onto gold, which has been great, and I'm going to employ one on crude oil. I actually had one before on crude oil. It stopped working, so I had to remove it, and then I'm adding a new one to crude oil, which hopefully will actually work. It's got very good backtest performance and looks overall quite reliable based on parameter sensitivity and things like that. So that's going to be interesting. I'll let you guys know how that goes. And I aim to be more consistent with my small cap strategies. As you can see, at least on profit wise this month, a lot of the profits have been in algos compared to small caps. I've actually made consistently, I think, maybe over the last like 4 months, I've made consistently more money in algos compared to small caps. I am putting more capital into futures. At least for futures, it's using about a 50K account, and then I have a couple prop accounts with that. And if you're wondering what was the graph before, that's just a Excel graph of all the trades exported out from the prop firms and from NinjaTrader and from AMP Trades, which also helps me do the broker side of things. So that's all put together, and then that creates that equity curve. That all includes commissions and things like that. That's net of everything. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. But let me know if you have any questions on performance this month. I hope your month has gone really well. And if you have enjoyed it, please share it and let me know how your